Hey Patreon, this is Michael. You guys know. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your support. You guys rock. You guys are awesome. I love you so much. So I figured I'd talk about, like we talk about bugging out, we talk about bugging in, right? I mean, it's just a common prepper thing. We talk about bug out locations, bug out vehicles, bug out bags, stuff like that. But we don't always talk about what would lead to bugging out. Why would I bug out? Because, honestly, bugging in is a much better option. Because you're already established. You already have a stove to cook on. You already have a bathroom to go to the bathroom in. You have access to all the things you need. You don't, like if you bug out, you might forget something, right? I mean, no matter how good we are, we may end up forgetting something. And depending on the time frame that we have to bug out, we'll end up with much less with us than we have at our primary location. A lot of people say, oh, well, the best thing to do is to be living at your bug out, your homestead, your off-grid cabin, whatever it may be. Well, yes, true. I understand the idea behind that. And yes, that is a best case scenario. But people fail to realize sometimes that if you're living at your bug out, it's no longer a bug out. You still need a bug out. Because you never know what's going to happen. You don't know for all what eventuality could happen. We don't all know what all the possibilities are. We don't all know what the threats we may face are. We just don't know. Thus, you need a bug out location, no matter how good, how defensible, how low population density, no matter how many people you have at your bug out location, meaning your primary residence, where you live, your homestead, your off-grid cabin, no matter what it is, no matter how well set up you are, you still need to have a bug out location established. You still need routes, you still need alternate routes, you still need caches, you still need a proper working order bug out vehicle with plenty of fuel to get to your bug out location from the longest, most circuitous route possible. All these kind of things. But what would lead to placing us in a potentially worse situation than if we stayed home? Well, one of the things I think of is if they start going the route of gun confiscations and, armed people are going door to door taking people's guns, whether it's law enforcement, whether it's DHS, FEMA, National Guard, federal troops, ATF agents, FBI, there's a lot of different agencies out there, a lot of different three-letter agencies, also NGOs, and also PMCs, private military contractors. Maybe it's contractors. And we don't know necessarily who's going door to door, depends on the situation, who it would be, and what their moral and ethical background is. And how they're going to go about doing it. So that may be a situation where because you keep your head on a swivel, you have a heads up. You know that, okay, these people are moving through this area and they're currently here, so they got to go here, 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 and here before they get to me. So you kind of may have a ballpark idea of how much time you have to get out. That may be a situation. Situation may be that complete and utter chaos is erupting in your area. If you live in an urban environment, much more likely, of course, and if you live in a rural or even a suburban area. But even a suburban area, the closer you live to the cities, I think the more you need to concentrate on having your bug out situation, the entirety of it, locations, routes, vehicles, bags, equipment, all the stuff like that, caches, all that kind of stuff. You need to be that needs to be a higher priority for you than if you're living, extremely remote or rural, low population density, of a homestead, you're self-sufficient, you got a good group, all this stuff like that. Lower priority then, yes, but it still needs to be a priority. So what other situations? Foreign invasion, obviously. If, foreign troops are going through and you need to get out of there and move, get up in the hills and the mountains and fight, The Good Fight, aka Red Dawn, which was, man, that was my favorite movie when I was a kid. I knew since I was a little kid that I was going to go in the military. I was 100% cut out for the military. And I didn't love every minute of it, of course, but I loved, and I'm very proud of my military career, and very proud of that background and the knowledge and the discipline and everything that it gave me. Skills, just all the things and all the experiences of going around seeing what the rest of the world is like. The rest of the world, no matter how bad we have it here, this is still the best place to be, trust me. You don't want to be anywhere near, a lot of other places in the country or in the world. Foreign invasion may force you out. Gun confiscations may force you out. Lockdowns, if they choose to take control via lockdowns, forced lockdowns, locking you in place, and then you have to do such and such to get a food pass to go get food or whatever, a food ration card, kind of stuff like that, like forced vaccinations. If you don't want to get vaccinated, it may lead to your non-ability to get food, where you're not available to get food, water, supplies, stuff like that, unless you prove you have your little vaccination. Show us your papers, sir, kind of thing, like Nazi Germany, Soviet Russia kind of thing. And we might be headed down that path with this vaccination thing. There may be forced vaccinations. It may be forced compliance of whatever it may be. They may be hunting down and trying to lock up people of faith, or gun owners, or conservatives, or you name it. We don't know what's going to happen. It also may be that an EMP has happened, or a collapse has happened, and the on-demand supply system, their food chain, has been disrupted. So there's no more food in grocery stores. And yes, you are prepared to an extent, but your situation where you are is untenable long term, and you can tell by what's going on that more than likely, by your intelligent mind, that it will be a longer term event. So you must get yourself in a better situation. That you are, it is not a good situation where you are. Drink lots of water. It's good for you. And this is all, keep your head on a swivel, gain intelligence. The more aware you are of your surroundings, what's going on around you, the more of a warning you will receive to bug out. So the more effective your bug out will be. The more things you can take with you, etc. You guys know, if you have more time to bug out, then obviously it's a better situation. If you got a couple hours, couple days, an entire day, whatever notice, then of course that's much better than a half hour or an hour's notice, where you just got to grab what you can, everything, and jump in the vehicles and go, or vehicle, whatever it is, and go. Part of all this, I've talked about calm plan with your group, family, co-workers, church members, community members, whatever your dynamic is. Some people, whether they're preppers or not. Try to get them a communication method that works with you, where you can communicate back and forth without like text or cell phone, stuff like that, an alternate form of communication, so that you can better prepare yourself for bugging out, and or let the people that you care about, or whatever it is, bug out with you. And you can just talk to them about alternate forms of communication. You don't even have to approach it from a bug out location, bug out approach, or from a prepper standpoint. Don't have to talk about SHTF, WROL, all this stuff. That'll just freak them out, and then they'll think you're a weirdo, and then they won't talk to you anymore. Just approach them common sense. Hey, I have this handheld ham radio. I have some extras, and I thought it would be kind of cool if you just kept this at your house, keep it charged, and keep it on this frequency. And if something happens, whatever. We've seen a lot of, use 2020 as an example. 2020 was a chaotic year. After 2020, nothing would surprise me, right, buddy? Nothing would surprise you too, right? We never know what's going to go on. So, hey, why don't you keep this at the house, keep it on this frequency, keep it in your vehicle, whatever. Just try to keep one in your vehicle, keep one in your house. It's worth the expense on your part to provide them, to have that additional support of them helping you when you get to know where you're going. Even if they're not preppers, they're still probably skilled. If they're capable people, they can still be an asset. So approach it like that, kind of like we approach gardening. I talk to people all the time about gardening, raising some vegetables, growing some food in their front yards, in their side yards, whatever it may be, just because it's good and it's fun and stuff like that. It's called like sneaky prepping. Get them into this mindset without overwhelming them. Teotihuacan, zombie apocalypse. It's the end of the world as we know it. The economy's collapsing. Narubu's going to hit us. Blah, 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 Yellowstone, super volcano. Don't go there. You're just going to scare them away. But anyway, back to what I was talking about. What are some other situations you might have to bug out? Well, Yellowstone super volcano. If you live close to it, you hear the rumbling, you start seeing these explosions and stuff flying through the air, you probably want to get the heck out of there as soon as possible. It could be a tsunami coming to your area. It could be a tornado. And bugging out doesn't mean that you're gone forever. Tornadoes ripping through the area. You may head out of the tornado's path to your bug out location for a couple days, a couple hours, whatever it takes to keep yourself safe. And then return maybe. But any kind of natural disaster may force you out. Rioting, gang activity, looting, WROL, without rule of law situation where law enforcement isn't coming and the situation where you are is untenable. You cannot stay there. It is not realistic or safe for you to stay. You have to get out for your safety's sake, for your lives. And you can imagine, just war game in your head, all the different scenarios that would lead to you having to bug out. Because we're all in different situations. Somebody in the desert of Arizona is different than somebody in the tundra of Alaska, or me in Pacific Northwest, or somebody in Texas, upstate New York, downtown city New York, downtown LA. We all have different things that are going to affect us. Different things that will lead to us needing to bug out or bug in, and what the decision is, and weigh the options. Bugging out should be a last resort, but you got to have the plans in place to have that as an option. Preparedness is living insurance, right? So it's part of living insurance. It's part of having a dynamic approach to preparedness. It's not just single-minded. We can't just buy a bunch of beans and rice and say we're good, right? No. It's a big picture type thing. Think outside the box. War game what ifs, possibilities, what might happen, what could happen, what would lead to this happening and why, and what would we do about it? There's so many different things that can go wrong. Basically, I'm just here trying to throw out a couple ideas, get you guys to think. I'm here to lift you guys up and empower you guys and encourage you guys to be thinkers. This is much more powerful than this. There's a time for this, for brute force, violence, fists, guns, all those kind of things. But this is what'll win the fight. Trust me. Having a sharp mind and a flexible spirit and mind, that is what will win the fight. Smarts, intelligence. The best guys I ever worked with in the military, the most successful people, were thinkers. They were smart. They're not a bunch of knuckle-dragging idiots. To survive the fight, you got to have smarts. You got to have intelligence. You got to have drive. You got to have all those things. The never quit, never say die attitude. So think about these things. Apply them to your life. See what you can improve upon. Where can you make improvements? What do you need to do? Where can you best spend your time, your money, and your efforts to be better prepared for bugging in or bugging out, and general preparedness as a rule? I love you guys here, man. I'll tell you what, I really care about you guys. I pray for you guys all the time, seriously. I include you guys in my prayers. I want you guys to be assets. Not just so I'll have less threats out there to worry about myself and others, but because I do. I care about you guys. There's a lot of really good people here, like-minded people that are way more prepared than me, probably. I've been doing this a long time, but hey, I still have weaknesses. I still have gaps. I still work hard on it all the time. I still prep a little every day, like I tell you guys to. I love you guys, and blessings to you and yours.